It's 11:47 at night on Morse Road in Columbus, Ohio, and I'm sitting in front of a camera I bought on a 12-month payment plan with a ring light aimed directly at my face. This is day one of my lock-in era. I've spent the previous 4 hours adjusting the camera angle, which seems like a lot, until you consider I also spent 45 minutes choosing which notebook had the right energy for a 90-day discipline challenge. I finally hit record, looked straight into the lens, and said, "Day one, we're locked in." Then I posted it at midnight and went to sleep. 14 likes by morning. 12 of them were my cousins. But I kept going. I'd been talking about doing something like this for almost 2 years. 2 years of telling myself, next month, after the holidays, when I feel ready. So when January hit, and I finally said enough, I sat down at that desk and wrote out the whole plan on page 1 of the dotted notebook. 90 days. Post every single day. Document the discipline from the inside, the early mornings, the gym, the grind. Build to 10,000 followers, and use that to get out of the freight warehouse on Westerville Road where I'd been loading pallets since I was 19. That was the plan. But underneath all the numbers, I wrote one more thing. Something that took me longer to get to than the rest of it. I wrote it last, before I closed the notebook that first night. I want to build something that matters to someone other than me. I underlined it. Then I set up the ring light and started filming. By week 3, I had 800 followers, which felt like nothing. Until week 4, when the algorithm picked something up, and the number jumped to 1,400 overnight. By week 6, I was at 3,200. A video about discipline and motivation crossed 20,000 views in 9 days. I was getting DMs from people in Georgia, in Michigan, one guy in Boise, Idaho, who told me I was the reason he finally walked into a gym for the first time in 3 years. I want you to understand what that did to me, because that's where everything started quietly falling apart, and I couldn't see it from inside it. I started waking up at 5 in the morning, not because I chose to. I woke up because I was scared of what missing a day would do to my numbers. I was posting every day about locking in, the alarm in the dark, the cold water on my face, the meal containers lined up in the fridge, the journal open to a fresh page. So the comments kept telling me I was inspiring people. So I kept going. So the comments kept coming. I had a daily ritual that looked exactly like discipline from every angle you could check. What I never stopped to ask, not once in 45 days, was whether any of it had anything to do with what I'd written on page 1 of that notebook. By day 45, I had a system. Post at 7 in the morning, check comments at noon, edit the next video from 8 to 11 at night. Repeat. The system worked. The numbers kept moving. I had a specific tone my audience responded to, a specific way of framing the grind that people seemed to need from me. I was the locked-in guy. That was the identity now, and that identity required daily maintenance. What I didn't understand then, what I couldn't see because it felt identical to the real thing, is that I had stopped building something and started performing something. And performance is a trap that feels like progress because the rewards are completely real. The comments were real. The followers were real. The DM from Idaho was real. Your brain cannot tell the difference between being validated for doing the work and being validated for looking like you're doing the work. It registers both the same way. So it told me to keep going. So I kept going. Day 53. I missed a post. Not a dramatic reason. Something had bent in the charging port of my phone, and by the time I figured out it wasn't charging, it was 9 at night, with every repair shop nearby already closed. One missed day became 3 because the repair took longer than quoted, and I had a double shift at the warehouse that ran until 8:30. 3 became 5. When I came back, I posted an apology video. Told people I was still locked in, just hit a bump. Edited it for 40 minutes. posted it at the exact time my analytics was most active. Then I went to make coffee, came back to check the screen, sat down slowly. 43 views. The video before it had 4,000. I didn't close the laptop. I didn't reach for my phone. The ring light was off, and the screen was the only thing lit in the apartment. And outside I could hear the couple upstairs walking around, and a bus on Morse Road going somewhere, and the refrigerator doing whatever refrigerators do at midnight. I sat with 43 for a long time, longer than I want to tell you, and I kept waiting for something to shift in me. Some second wind, some voice that said, "Get back up." But nothing came. Just the number sitting there, not moving, and the quiet of the apartment pressing in from every direction. I didn't know what I was doing this for. Not without the views coming in, not without the comments. The whole structure required an audience to have a point, and the moment the audience looked somewhere else, even for 5 days, I had nothing left underneath it. So I got up, walked to the desk, and I don't know exactly why. Maybe I needed something to hold on to, but I picked up the dotted notebook, opened it to page 1. Read what I'd written on the first night. I want to build something that matters to someone other than me. I sat with that for a long time, too. Because somewhere around day 15 or 20, without noticing, without making a decision about it, I had replaced that reason with a different one. The new reason was the numbers. The new goal was 10,000. The new definition of locking in was posting every day and watching the metrics respond. The thing I'd underlined on page 1, the actual reason I'd picked up the notebook in the first place, had nothing to do with any of that. That sentence was about building something real. What I'd been doing for 53 days was building an audience for a version of me that was building something real. Those are not the same thing, and I had been too busy maintaining the performance to notice the difference. I walked home the long way that night, down past the elementary school on Kenny Road, with the same quote on their sign they hadn't changed in months. Past the gas station where the coffee is bad, but the guy behind the counter says good morning like he actually means it. And I thought about what performing discipline for 53 days had actually cost me. Here's what I'd done. I'd built something that needed an audience to exist. No viewers, no purpose, no comments, no reason to get up. I had structured my entire lock-in around external confirmation that I was locked in, and the moment that confirmation stopped coming, I had nothing. There's a test you can apply. One question. If every follower disappeared tomorrow, every view, every comment, every DM, would you still be doing what you're doing? Would you still wake up at 5? Would you still do the work? I knew my answer. And my answer told me everything I needed to know about what those 53 days actually were. Real locking in doesn't require witnesses. That's not a romantic idea. It's just the actual definition. It happens in the dark, without feedback, when the only reason you're still going is that the thing itself demands it. Not because someone in Idaho needs you to be consistent, not because your streak depends on it, because what you're building is more important than the story of you building it. And here's what nobody prepares you for, what it actually feels like from the inside. It's boring. It's quiet. There's no moment where everything clicks and every morning feels charged. Half the days are below average. Most of the time you're grinding through the work, wondering if you're even doing the right things, and the self-doubt doesn't go away. You just get slightly better at moving through it. Your brain fights you every single step because your brain does not care about your goals. It cares about comfort and the fastest available route to feeling okay right now. Asking it to work in silence with no incoming reward for months is asking it to fight its own wiring. Most people lose that fight. Not because they're weak, because they expected something that doesn't exist, and no one warned them what the real thing actually looked and felt like. It's not a Rocky movie. There's no crowd. It's usually just you, doing the thing you said you were going to do, with no one watching. I still make videos. I want you to know that. But I changed what I was building first. I opened the notebook back to page 1, read that line one more time, thought about what it would actually mean to do that. Not document it, not perform it, not build a following around the story of it. Just build it. I turned the ring light off, sat in the dark for a while. No numbers to check, no comments to answer, no audience watching me lock in. And for the first time since January, I wasn't performing for anyone. That was day 1. If this hits you somewhere, drop a comment. Not the hype kind. Just tell me where you actually are right now. Day 1, day 47, or somewhere in between that doesn't have a name yet. That's enough. New stories come out every couple of days. Subscribe so you catch the next one.